When you need a mortgage, don't stress at all. Just tune right in and give these guys.
Good morning, Chatterbox. Today is Tuesday, June 17th. And fellas, the U.S. Open made Pittsburgh look great. It was a great tournament. And of course, it ain't Western Pennsylvania without a little thunderstorm. What's going on, boys?
Good morning, fellas.
What's happening? It did make it look great, honestly, and kudos to them. I mean, the weather was wacky and has been wacky for the last couple months, so that was good stuff out at Oakmont.
Yeah, and frankly, it seemed like on the real estate side of things, a lot of real estate agents were involved in rentals. There was some good money coming into the economy for those rentals for the week or so. So kudos to everyone that got involved in that and took care of that side of things.
Yeah, for sure. I was out at Fox Chapel yesterday, and a lot of those agents were involved with getting golfers in there, families of golfers, having those short-term rentals, and it was a lot of work. I know they've been working on it since last fall, so they did a great job. I'm pretty sure the women's U.S. Open is coming here in 3 years now, so get yourself ready again.
Yeah, that's definitely big business. And hey, there is that, we're not accountants, but I believe there's that Augusta rule that I think is still in play. You can rent your primary residence up to 14 days and it's tax-free, if I'm not mistaken. So
it's a good rule. That's a good rule. Talk to your accountants, but we see that on pages of paper.
Yeah, for sure. But boys, also we got to talk about last week. War is back. We have a little escalation between Israel and Iran. Of course, that's never great for the economy. We had a bad day on interest rates on Friday. Things were pretty stable yesterday, but we have to keep an eye on war. War is going to make things volatile. You're going to have good days. You're going to have bad days. You have to understand when you're pre-approved, putting in offers, even if you're floating rates right now, you got to pay attention because they can definitely move daily depending on the news and what we're seeing out of the Middle East.
Yeah, and you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, it could literally change in a split second. People are saying things, we're not going to bomb them, we're going to bomb them, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. All it is creating unrest right now. And yeah, it's creating a lot of volatility. So I'm hopeful that we can get these rates down, but there are a lot of world conflicts going on right now.
Yep. I mean, we have world conflicts on one side, and then we have an uptick of economists who are kind of siding with the president right now. They're saying that the Fed is being too conservative and that they need to cut rates more. Now they're meeting this week. We don't expect anything to happen. We saw the interest rates tick up in 23. We heard they were going to come down in 24. We heard they were going to come down in 25. Now, guys, we're hearing they're going to come down in 26. Frankly, they have been elevated, in the 6% range now for years. I don't know if they're going to break out of that range. They're now telling us, more economists, that 2026 we may see that, but who the heck knows? Because as we see, anything can happen around the world, and it could kind of throw everything on the home front up in arms.
Yeah, I'm not sure what we're going to see. I am thinking that, rates are going to go down eventually, but this has become the new normal. 6% is, what we've been seeing since probably 2023, maybe even some parts of 2022. And buyers are used to it. I don't think, that is having buyers not jump at these things. There are a lot of other factors, taxes up, insurance up, and coupled with rates, makes the whole affordability chain go out a little bit out of reach for certain buyers. But I don't think the rates are going to come down here in the short term. If they said where they were going to end the year, we had already been halfway down, into the low sixes. So I just don't see us ending the year in those fives like everybody was saying.
Yeah, I mean, and frankly, we are halfway through the year, right? We're halfway through the year. If anything, rates have ticked up slightly from the beginning of the year. So who expects to see anything different the rest of this year?
Speculation is out there always, right? So, I mean, people have been waiting for the rates to come down for the past 2.5 years. So, my thought is, if the payment works and it's affordable, buy now. The rates aren't anticipated to come down astronomical. You're not going to see 3 and 4% rates. I mean, we've been saying it for the past year. If they do come down, and when, we might see high 5s, low 6s. We were already once, this year, but the rates are, if you compare it to 2019 prior to COVID, the rates were exactly the same as they are now in 2019. So we have to get all the smoking clouds from COVID, out of the way and just focus on today and affordability.
And remember, guys, during COVID, almost every buyer was going over asking. So instead of putting those funds to going over asking that you don't necessarily have to do in this market, use the funds to buy down the interest rate. Talk to us, allow you to buy down your rate, and then make it more affordable. That's the power you have as a buyer. You have control of your interest rate. If you can't fully afford the buy down, then you go to the seller, you ask the seller for seller assistance that you're allowed to do on all mortgage transactions for primary residence, and you get it done that way. You put it in your offer, you negotiate it, and you get the lowest rate possible by buying it down. So there are options. You should be able to do this. Like, again, we had people going 20, 30, 40,000 over asking during COVID, no problem. So paying $5,000 for a buy down, that may seem like a lot for some people, but that may make sense to other folks. We didn't think it made a lot of sense to go 40,000 over asking, but folks were doing that, no problem. So there are options out there, and make sure you understand them.
Yeah, ask your buyer agent to put the offer in, with the seller's assist. I just saw again today more emails of price drops on houses. I mean, that's all people are doing is dropping list price of houses. I feel like that is their main go-to, is just drop the price. We need to get that seller's assist, and we need to make it more affordable for the buyer. If it's not more affordable for the buyer, then you have no buyers.
And buyer's agents, you have to ask for the seller assistance in the offer. It doesn't magically show up. I'm sorry, sellers aren't just giving funds away. Ask for it and negotiate it. It can be a huge help to your buyer.
And seller's assist comes from the seller's net bottom line. I was asked that this weekend. That is where it comes from, is the seller's net bottom line. So instead of dropping the price or offering them $20,000 less, ask for the seller's assist. Make it more useful for the buyer. If you guys don't know what seller's assist is or where it comes from, please ask, because it needs to be in your repertoire daily.
And AMP, it's very easy to do the math to see what the seller is going to get from an offer that's offering a higher purchase price and then asking for seller assistance compared to asking for a lower purchase price with no seller assistance. It's not very difficult.
It's not. And I mean, it's made to be difficult in some cases, but you take the purchase price, you minus the max allowed seller's assist, and there you go. That's what the seller is netting, but in the instance of the offer, I mean, it's so important for the agent to work with the loan officer as well to help structure that, because so many times on the lending side, we're working up a specific mortgage plan that works for the client, including seller's assistance, buying down the rate, buying out the PMI, and then we get the agreement and there's no seller's assist, and then we change all the numbers and the client's like, well, wait a second, what happened? Well, you didn't ask for seller's assist,
right?
So it's very important to structure and work closely with your loan officer so that everything works for the client and you don't have issues.
And I totally get it. Back during the COVID years, it was highest and best, put it in by tonight. And some of the times, hell, we got the contract because you put the offer in the best that could be put in. And frankly, it was this way or the highway for the buyer. That is not the case now. It is more important that the buyer's agents work with us, structure that offer properly so the buyers can win. It is a market to let buyers win, and the best way they can win is seller assistance. It's the number one tool all buyers agents should have, just like Tom said.
Yeah, the market's not the same as COVID. You have to do a little negotiating. It's not just write up an offer and hope for the best. Same with a listing agent. It's not just take an offer and hope for the best. We got to get back to real estate.
Yep. And we're seeing the buyer's agents out there that are honing in on negotiating are really good and getting good offers, one for their buyers. And then their buyers are going out and telling everyone, hey, my real estate agent is amazing because they just did this for me. So that's free marketing right there. So great episode today, boys. We'll see you Friday, and let's pray for peace.
See you, fellas.
Tom Ryan and Anthony